So this is the full Alec Baldwin police interview from the Rush shooting. And I'll put this on a playlist because I was making videos on this when it was happening, on whether he would be charged or not. I'm watching this cold with you guys. So sometimes, like the one I did before this of the little armor, I had watched that before, so it was a little bit better intel. Now you're going to watch it cold, and you'll see how my thought process and kind of what I'm thinking on this interview. Hopefully it's not the same two idiot females, but I think it is.
I thought he was coming with you, so, yes, not. I'm Alex, I'm one of the detectives on the case, and can we get you coffee or anything? Water, you good? Okay. We'll be in here in just a minute, okay?
Oh my God, she went out there. Oh my God, I just shook hands with Alex Baldwin. I'm so happy. God, this girl is a freak. She's going to be flipping her. I haven't seen it. She's going to be flipping her hair this whole interview. All right, so I'm going to kind of bump until they actually say something, or we can't see. She asked me if he wanted coffee. He pointed at his water, saying he had water. Remember, he just killed somebody.
Hey.
I'm at the police station. The sheriff's, and they're about to interview me. How is everyone at home? How are the kids?
The kids are great.
Did you hold on a second, please. Did you tell Carmen what's going on?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Are you convinced you don't want to come tomorrow?
I mean, I don't think it's a good idea. Look, call me after you talk with the sheriff, but, like, I don't think it's a great idea. I think this is, you know...
But let me say this too, just to be clear. They're going to make me stay here tomorrow anyway to talk to my insurance investigators. This is really, I'll talk to you more, but I'm just saying.
I'm so sorry. You must have such, you must be so traumatized.
No, what I am is someone who, I don't want to do this for a living anymore. I don't want to be a public person. And, I'm the one holding the gun in my hand that everybody was supposed to have taken care of. They always hand me a cold gun. Where are you now?
Man, he's pretty short and abrupt and cuts her off pretty, there's no doubt in my mind who is, wears the pants in this family. I'm leaning this way because my speaker's right here, and if I turn it up, it'll go on a microphone. And I could put headphones on, but then it's a pain in the butt to me. So I've got to keep it low enough that it doesn't feedback, but I got to hear it.
Michelle, who? And where are you? Okay, all right, I'll call you back when I'm done, okay?
Okay, so he interrupted about where she told a kid. She kind of said, I didn't think it was a good idea. Whatever. I wish he'd left on speaker so I could hear what she was saying, his answers, but he's kind of disgruntled right now saying, I don't want to be a public employee anymore. I'm sure he likes being a public guy when he's talking shit about gun control and other shit, now that his dumb ass killed somebody. All right, let me be bumping through to see what's going on here.
Where's this?
I'm just going to take, I'm going to fill out.
Did she tell you what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince her to come. I think we should come. And just spend the time here, and they're going to do what they got to do with and deal with what they got to deal with. And we shouldn't let it. We'll go out and we'll go. I won't work, and we'll go enjoy ourselves. It's all paid for, and they're not going to give us the money back.
And we should be.
Oh, so in the middle of killing someone, he's worried about losing the money because it's paid for, and he's not going to get the money back. Wow, dude, I thought you had some cash. Yeah, just kill somebody, but I don't want to lose this money for the trip. Wow, he's a nice guy.
Staying away from the vultures here.
Are they outside?
No, but I imagine they will be at some point. They're
I
going to
think
find
it's a great
out.
idea. It's a great idea. You should come for that reason also. All right, I'll call Carmen on her iPad, okay?
Okay, yeah, she's on her phone. I'm very sorry, actually.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea how unbelievable this is and how strange this is. And I'll explain to you later.
Sorry, you're in this position.
No, it's just.
I hope that everyone's okay and that you're okay.
I'll call you back. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, another call. And here they come. All right. Oh my God, it's the same two idiots. You gotta be shitting me. You got a homicide investigator. These are your two. I figured they just threw these two idiots a bone with the armor, and the real detectives were freaking handling the main shit. They got these two idiots again? Oh my God.
Hi, Samantha.
Am I still on one? I'm on normal here. I'll leave him on normal. Hour interview.
So, you know why you're here. For this incident that was unfortunate.
You know why you're here? Yeah, you shot somebody.
Yeah, I know you already agreed to talk to us and everything, and that's great. We're just gonna go over the rights. She's gonna read these to you. As you understand them, and just sign an initial, and then if you read the bottom and agree to talk to us,
Initial
sign.
each of them.
As you understand them, yes.
Yeah, so first one, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court or other proceedings. You have the right to consult with an attorney before making any statement or answering any questions, and you may have him or her present with you during questioning. You may have an attorney appointed to you to represent you if you cannot afford one or otherwise obtain one. If you decide to answer any questions now with or without a lawyer, you have the right to stop questioning at any time or to stop questioning for the purpose of consulting a lawyer.
So my only question is, am I being charged with something?
No, we're just interviewing.
I don't, that's what that's all I can.
But
I'm not worried because I'm not, yeah.
We
But
have to do
you're charging
our
me with
job
something. Yeah, no, just tell me that.
at advising you your rights
You want me to write my name here?
because this is an investigation.
Just a formality.
Just a formality. It's not a formality. You read somebody your rights when you have custody and interrogation. He's not in custody, but there is an interrogation. Technically, they don't need to read your rights. As long as they tell him he's free to leave and he doesn't have to talk to him and you're here voluntarily, no reason to read him his rights.
You have to do it. You're here.
You
We
do
appreciate
whatever
it.
you want to do. What is today?
She's
It
already
is the
playing with her hair.
21st of October.
Oh.
Long day?
Well, what's interesting, not to digress on some commentary here, is that we've done this for 2 weeks and we did it the right way every day. Every day.
Did it the right way, but we fired half the staff or they quit and walked out, and we have a new person that started, and there's already been 2 accidental discharges. But we've done it right every day. Okay.
You're on a set, you rehearse, they bring you what's called a cold gun. The gun is either completely empty, the chambers, or there is a cosmetic piece. So for example, if you're the camera, and this is going to sound silly and specific, but if I'm pointing a gun close to the camera, you want to see into the cylinder that there's material in there, cosmetic material. So those rounds are cosmetic rounds. They put them in, and you rehearse, or even in a shot when you don't fire. I pull the gun up and you see there's some material inside the cylinder. They'd hand me a cold gun, no charges. They always hand you a cold gun with nothing in it to rehearse. And then, when you shoot, and if
Notice she moved away again. She created that distance.
you're shooting loads that are flash loads, and they're usually in 3 denominations, quarter, half, or full.
So he's using more terminology than the freaking weapons expert. He's using flash loads and quarters, causing a flash, cosmetic. He sounds more familiar with the gun than the expert that was supposed to be keeping it safe.
Load round, so that the flash is bright and the sound is loud, louder, loudest. Full load is loudest. So if you're outside, you want a full load. Bang, you want a loud sound. If you're inside, you can do a quarter load. Right before you shoot, everyone preps. Crew puts the earplugs in, some put headphones on.
Who's controlling this interview? They let him go off on a tangent to tell a story, which I'm not going to say is necessarily a bad thing. If he wants to talk, he's talking. You may not want to shut him down. But they really let him go on this tangent here. And, I mean, they should have some sort of checklist or interview on things I want to get to on what he knows. And since they've already interviewed the armor, I'm assuming, I don't know. Let me take that back. I've already done the interview on the armor first. They may have interviewed her after him. This may be their first interview. I don't know. We'll see. I'll be able to tell as the interview goes on. The camera's there. Very often there's a loose sight screen. But you're the camera operator and there's the camera. So I should always shoot off camera. You never shoot into the lens.
and you shoot, and there's a flash and a sound. Now, I went to lunch. She disarmed me. I sat.
She disarmed me. Remember, she said the director gave her the gun. So who is she?
She being
Hannah, the armaments person. She was always handling the guns, 99% of the time. So I would, if I had a cosmetic rifle with no rounds, I would probably hand it to one of her assistants. I'm sitting there, she disarms me.
One of her assistants. This armorer, who shouldn't even be around guns, is a freaking idiot, has assistants. Are you kidding me? If she's that incompetent and in charge, what the hell do her assistants know?
We go to lunch, we come back to lunch, and they hand me the revolver, the Colt.
And I just like the name. It's Hannah again.
They arm me, and you're assuming, as we've done every time, that it's a cold gun for the rehearsal.
Assuming. See, this is where you need to be writing down. When you say you assume, is that normal? Do you usually check it? Do you check it? How many times is a gun checked? Is it checked one time? Did the director check it? Did the armor check it? Do you always just assume? Have you never checked a gun yourself? Is this standard? That's a huge area that they should be locking him down in.
And I put the gag in the shot, you're the camera, because I have a coat, and I have a holster, and I pull the coat over, and I kind of cup my hands like I folded my hands. And then I'm going to slowly sneak the revolver, the Colt out, and turn and shoot these other guys, or try to shoot them. I take the coat over the thing, the camera's there. I believe, my recollection is she was there, turned a bit, like talking to him. So I think she was hitting the right armpit. But this is all I know, and that is that I take the gun out in the rehearsal. He wants it very dramatic and very slow. I'm trying to sneak up on them. I take the gun out, and as it clears, as the barrel clears, I turn and cock the gun in rehearsal. I turn and cock the gun goes off. It's supposed to be a cold gun. Nothing. No flash charges, nothing. Now, this is a puzzle to me. And this is making me very emotional now, but in my time, and I'm older now, but when I was younger and I was shooting guns in films, I've never seen a theatrical flash round where the material went through someone's armpit, came out their body, and hit somebody else in the shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if your department is prepared to go find out what comes out of his shoulder surgically. Is that a live round?
That's what we are actually looking
Is that a lot? Because it doesn't make any sense otherwise.
Yeah.
It hits her in the armpit, comes out her shoulder, goes into his shoulder, and he just told me on the phone, I talked to Joe. He said, they showed me the x-ray, and the shape of the thing in my shoulder is the shape of a bullet. Now, all the rounds, I was told, you need to verify, I think this is an important note, they take the gun, they enter and all the...
You can tell that he's really controlling this interview. He's kind of telling them what they should do. He's in a... And, again, I may let a guy do this. The purpose of an interview is to get information. So as long as I'm getting information, I may let the guy take over or think he's in charge or, play dumb. I don't think these two are playing dumb. They're just really poor interviewers. And they may be a little starstruck because they're in there with him and they think they're going to be, heroes down in the department. But whatever. I mean, I don't like these two women because they did a horrible job on Armor. And I don't expect them to do much better with this guy, but we'll see.
The rounds that are in there were either dummy rounds, no flash, cold rounds, or rounds with a flash. In the rehearsal, there should have been nothing. It should have been a cold gun with no rounds inside or dummy rounds.
So he's saying he thought it was empty. So what's the difference? These are questions that they should be asking. Why did you think it was empty? And you're saying you thought it was a cold gun. If a gun is loaded with dummy rounds and no flash rounds, is it still considered a cold gun? Because it sounds like he doesn't think it is, but I don't know, and these idiots probably won't ask.
Rounds, no flash. I take the gun out slowly, I turn, I cock the pistol, bang, it goes off, she hits the ground, she goes down. He goes down, screaming. He's like, Jesus Christ, and I'm going. And I thought that maybe sometimes the wadding can come out if you're closer to get a burn. Two actors who killed themselves with guns, with theatrical guns, John Eric Hexum and Brandon Lee, they put the live round in, and I'm told even with the flash powder, you can cause contusions and you can do a brain bleed and die, which both of them died.
Right.
I think with Brandon Lee, there was a a piece of material lodged in the thing that's shot from the or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember vividly, but my point is, I've been doing this. I shot enough guns in my day in movies. I've never seen this before, where a flash round. But from my understanding is, can I borrow your pen for?
It sounds like he still thinks a blank killed them, which is kind of surprising, and which I would be asking is, you've shot a lot of rounds that are blanks, right? And when you shoot a blank round, it is nothing like the recoil. When a round goes off, for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. The bigger and heavier the bullet, the bigger and heavier the recoil to the person. If it's a rifle, the more you'll feel in your shoulder. If it's a pistol, the more the gun will pop up and recoil. So the bigger the bullet, meaning more powder, or the bigger the weight of the bullet, if a 22 only weighs like 32, 22 grams, whatever it is, and then, a shotgun is a 1 ounce round. Obviously, when you're pushing a 1 ounce round, it's going to push back a lot harder. They're not getting in there. When you shoot a blank round, nothing is coming out. The casing is narrow and crimped, and when you fire, the crimp opens up and the burnt powder comes out. You get a flash and smoke. So there's no recoil because you're not pushing anything forward. Did he get a recoil on his gun? And I don't know if they're going to ask this or not, but that's really important to verify or to confirm that it was a live round. We already know it's a live round because they pulled a live round out. Unless they figure out that it's a dummy round that actually had powder in it and it's literally the same exact cartridge or round in the body they pulled out is the same thing that's in the blank round. And that could only happen one or two ways. Either it was loaded at the factory with real powder, or somebody on set pulled the bullet out, put powder in there, and put the bullet back in. But if it's a dummy round, it shouldn't have a primer. The primer is what activates the gunpowder, which causes the explosion. The explosion is what expels the bullet out. So we had a primer, we had an explosion, and we had the bullet being pushed out. It's a live round.
You could even borrow me.
My understanding is that in a bullet, here's the thing with the pin, and here's the bullet itself. And now here, when you have a cosmetic round, no flash, no nothing, they drill a hole in the side of the brass to signal.
Man, I got to give Alex this. He is much more articulate and understanding of the blanks and the flash and the dummies and the guns. He's calling it a revolver. I mean, he knows more than the armory, without a doubt.
That it's a cosmetic round. There's nothing in there. There's no powder. But when you have a flash round, and there's stuff in there, wadding and powder to make the charge. This material here, that is the bullet, is made of a clay or some material that just disintegrates. So what you have is bang, and you see the flash go bang, and you get a sound, but nothing. There's no projectile. Mm-hmm. And what I'm curious about is what came out of that bullet that went through her body and into his shoulder.
That's pretty powerful.
I've never heard of it. Now, some people say you can lodge material in the barrel accidentally, a rock, something. That happens. Which is why every time we've done this, I'm here to tell you, to testify that every time we've done this, she's done it right. She cleaned the barrel, made sure nothing was lodged in there. We went hot when they were ready. You always announce, going hot. Crew gets ready. And then all of a sudden, you're the camera, and I shoot away from you. I sit there and like, bang, 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 and flashes are coming out. We shoot the rounds. She cleans the barrel every time, and she checks that the rounds are all cosmetic rounds, or nothing in the chamber for the rehearsal. She hands me the gun. I'm assuming she's done it the right way. She's done it the last 2 weeks. I put it in the holster. I pull it out slow. We're rehearsing. We're not filming anything. I pull it out slow, turn, cock the pistol, bang, it goes off, and she hits the ground.
Okay, that's different than what he just demonstrated earlier. In the earlier interview, he goes, I'm pulling it out slow, and then he demonstrates, I point, I pull the trigger, and I cock it, and it goes off. He did it much faster. Now, he's almost correcting and changing that everything, the cock and everything was slow. I don't know which one is which. If I was in an interview, I'd clear up. Earlier, you pulled out slow, and you went like this. Now you're saying you did everything slow. Which one is it? That's how you clear up an interview.
And then he starts screaming.
These two are too mesmerized watching him. They're not even asking questions.
And I'm thinking, in a flash round, I could see maybe if there was wadding or there's some stuff like that that's hot, and maybe it hits you and burns you. As they say, sometimes that happens. But remember, we're rehearsing, so no.
At least she's not shaking her leg like a freaking rabid dog and playing with her hair every 2 seconds. Maybe somebody told her from the last interview.
One's protected.
So it's all supposed to be this one, cosmetic one.
Or nothing.
Or nothing.
For the rehearsal, the gun is normally empty.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is that...
Well, if it's normally empty, do you normally check it, or you just always trust the armor that it's empty? And if it's normally empty, wouldn't a camera crew see the bullets in there and say, that's supposed to be an empty gun? Are we asking questions here, or are we just here to hear Alec's storytelling?
They were standing in positions they wouldn't ordinarily be in, because they assumed it was an empty, cold gun.
And he's using that word assumed a lot. When you're dealing with guns, assume should not be used. You verify, you confirm, you ensure. Assume is not a good word when you're dealing with guns.
We weren't shooting, we were rehearsing. That's a vital difference. So if she's here...
That's a key point. He said, we were rehearsing. When we're shooting, it's different. So I don't know if the cameras were rolling. Somebody was saying they got to have all this on footage. If they're rehearsing, they may not run the cameras. So in his mind, we're not even shooting. So safety, in my mind, probably goes down when they're just rehearsing, because nobody's expecting him to pull the trigger.
The camera's here, and she's standing here talking to the guy, and I'm on a bench here, and Joel's behind.
Okay, when you got a person and you're interviewing somebody that likes to draw like this is great. I love it. I'll have a separate freaking pad, or I'll go get a separate pad, and every time he draws, I'm flipping a clean sheet of paper, because each drawing is going to be his own exhibit. If you're like these idiots and you leave the same sheet of paper, it looks like a mess, and now nobody's going to be able to understand it if it goes to court, because we have 4 different drawings on one page. If they knew what they were doing, every time he drew, they would either pull that sheet off and set it aside, and then when I go back later, I would be able to label it when I'm watching my interview. Incompetent.
Behind her, and this is not proportionate, because obviously the camera's not as big as her body, but I draw the gun slowly and aim off camera, and there's supposed to be nothing in there. So she's not protecting herself and standing off. I'm shooting in a direction, and everybody is supposed to be to that side of the camera. There's nobody in my line. Nobody.
I hope they get to at some point. Okay, Alex, I got to ask you some hard questions, all right? Did you ever check the gun yourself? Why or why not? Is that strong procedure? In all your filming career, have you ever checked a gun yourself, or you've never checked? No, I have done it sometimes. Why didn't you do it this time, and why did you do it at other times? I want to get this guy's state of mind to show this lackadaisical, and somebody's freaking dead. Now, this woman's going to win the civil suit, hands down. No way. A jury's going to award her. They're going to try and plead it out because they don't want to go to jury, because they know a jury is going to give this woman. She is a victim of these guys' incompetence. But we're doing a criminal investigation. This isn't, you don't get the cops to question people for a civil trial. Cops are questioning and involved because of a criminal liability. And these two idiots are like, it's story time with Alec Baldwin. Well, can we bring some donuts in here?
And so when I shoot the gun, so in the rehearsal, I'm assuming I have an empty gun, and the gun goes off, she's right in front of me. Mm-hmm. She's as far from me as I am from the difference between maybe you and the door.
Now, I'm kind of trying to figure out, because I'm talking and I'm trying to explain the interview. I would be, if I was in there not talking, because when there's 2 people, I can sit back and put my thoughts down on paper and let 1, 2, and then I'll jump in with things that I saw, and then that person can evaluate and jump in. I'm trying to see when he changed from her to her. For some reason, he's talking to her now. Even though this one is closer, and this one is giving him the paper, and this one is kind of doing primary, he wants to talk to her, and I'm not sure why or what happened. But again, in an interview, I would use that. If I'm talking to a guy and he wants to talk to my partner, and he likes my partner better, or he connects better, I'm going to sit back and become secondary and back up, let my partner, let him talk. Remember, The whole purpose of an interview is to get information. So let him talk to her, but I'm making notes, which she isn't doing. She doesn't have note paper. She gave him the pad. This one's got a note paper, and I don't think she's written down anything yet. They're both freaking just starstruck.
Okay. So pretty close proximity.
It was a very tight shot.
Okay.
The shot was here, of me, not of me, it's of me pulling the gun slowly, so he turned cock.
Okay.
See how he went fast? He did it again. First time, he went fast. The second time, he said I went really slow and I cocked it slow. This time, he went fast. Those are inconsistencies. Those are things that aren't adding up. When you got inconsistencies, they're either lying, they're confused, or they're making shit up and they forgot what they made up. Something's up.
And she's right there, vulnerable, in a position she wouldn't ordinarily be if we were shooting, and this thing, boom, she hits the ground.
All right. I'm going to back you up just a little bit,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
How long have you been on set?
Okay, so now this girl has kind of taken over at a big distance. I don't know if I want to interview at this far of a distance. She should move in if she's talking. When she moves out, she's putting herself in, talk to this person. But now that he's talking to her and now that she's interviewing, she should probably move in and use the table, get a little closer to him. This is a little bit offsetting, and why are you so far? And it's just not, I mean, will it work? Is it the end of the world? No, but I think it would be better if she decreased the distance when she talked to him, making it more personal, connecting with your interviewer.
I arrived Monday the 11th.
Okay.
And started my fittings, and they were shooting the week before.
And the 11th of October?
Monday the 11th, I flew in from New York.
Now, you notice they're both writing. My guess is, from my keen investigative law enforcement experience, is these two idiots are writing down the same thing. What should be happening is when this one is asking questions, this one should be pointing out inconsistencies, things that I want to follow up on. When it's jogging her memory, she should be writing her next questions. My guess is these two brain children are writing down the same thing. And it's being recorded, which is redundant at best.
I flew from New York to Denver to Albuquerque because there are no direct flights, and then drove from Albuquerque to here, rehearsed and fitted, and did all my preparatory stuff.
His flight plans is of no concern to me and has no relevance to my investigation. Why we're asking this, I don't know. Maybe it sounds cool and we don't know what else to ask, so we'll just ask stupid freaking questions. But his flight plans on when and where has no relevance whatsoever as to what happened today on the scene that somebody died. But whatever.
So that was in October, correct?
That was Tuesday the 12th, yeah. I flew on the 11th, rehearsed on the 12th, started shooting the 13th, Wednesday the 13th, I started shooting.
Okay.
We shoot a Wednesday through Sunday schedule. We're off Monday, Tuesday.
So the entire time you've been on set, have you seen the same armorer?
And her crew, yeah. Everybody.
How many people are on her crew?
My guess is that what I witnessed is 3.
Okay.
All young women. Hannah and 2 other women.
All right.
And very often they're tasked with me, because we're not shooting every day, guns, there's no...
I like the way he's making their interview easy because he wants to talk and he is giving out a lot of information. And so he's really making their job easy. If he shut the hell up, they probably wouldn't get anything out of this interview. But he's just rattling, which is great because he's giving me, if I'm there, he's giving me all kind of places to go, inconsistencies. Oh, I didn't think of that. I'm going to follow up on that. I'm going to follow up on that. I'm going to be doing all that. Nobody's writing now, but...
Armaments every day. They dress me with my holster, my knife. The film is set in 1888, so I'm armed with the classic weaponry of the cowboy era.
Okay.
And so they would make sure I was dressed properly. 85% of their task is to make sure I'm dressed with everything properly.
The armorers?
The armorers.
Or just...
Well, the armorers, wardrobe doesn't necessarily, they sometimes trade back and forth, but wardrobe doesn't necessarily deal with my holster.
Okay.
And the knife, but that's a prop. The armorer, Hannah, and her team, they dealt with me being knifed and that being lashed properly, so it looks proper.
Okay.
And the holster.
Okay.
So it was
And,
wardrobe as much as it was props, as much as it was armaments.
okay. Do you know Hannah's last name?
No.
Do you know what she looks like? Or can you
Yeah,
describe what she looks like?
multicolored hair, glasses.
Multicolored hair. Oh, she's a rainbow head. Isn't that sweet? Oh, we're at 30 minutes. All right, I'll make a part 2. I'll be back. Multicolored freaking idiot.